Anyekan and his fiancée Jenny were locked and cuddled up in each other's embrace as they both go through pictures and a list of things for their engagement party. Their engagement party was 4 days away and they were checking to see that everything was in place and in order. They cannot afford for anything to go wrong, even though it was just an ordinary engagement party, as some would think. Their engagement wasn't just going to be an engagement party of some ordinary people, but the engagement of Anyekan Briggs and Jennifer Bassey. Anyekan Briggs, a successful businessman, was also the son of a prominent politician in his state. His father was the deputy governor of the state, while Jennifer Bassey was the daughter of a renowned National Senate member. Their coming together and union isn't like the usual arranged marriage or matchmaking of the rich and the rich. Theirs was true love, at least so they believed. They had met each other in a family gathering held by Jenny's father, which Anyekan's father and his family were invitees. And that was where they had met and fallen in love naturally with each other, without their parents' interference. And after dating for a period of 1 year, they were going to get married. And though their family and friends had taken their time to plan and organize everything, Jenny decided to inspect and go through everything herself. She was one who was very meticulous and always wants everything about her to be perfect. She had given specific instructions on how she wants every single thing on her engagement to be set, and now she was going through them to be sure that they are exactly the way she had said it. I want to go through all the arrangements for our engagements, and I want us to do this together, Jenny had said to Anyekan earlier in the afternoon that day when he called her. I will come over to your house this evening, then we can go through everything together, she said. Anyekan, a gentle and soft-spoken who was so deeply in love with Jenny, said okay to her request without objection. He would do anything that makes his Jenny happy, and if wanting them to go through the arrangements together was what she wanted, then he would gladly create the time for it. So, Jenny arrived at Anyekan's apartment that evening. Unlike his parents, Anyekan does not stay in the government house. He did not even stay in any of the family houses his father built. He chose to rent his own apartment, a 2-bedroom mini duplex. I want to feel and have a sense of responsibility, he told his parents when they had tried to make him stay in one of those houses. The area where he rented his house was also a quiet one, and even the rich and wealthy lived there. It was not a government residential area, but it looked like it, and Anyekan had his peace there. When Jenny arrived that evening, Anyekan had asked his cook/housekeeper, to make something for Jenny to eat, but Jenny had said no. Let's just get done with going through the arrangement first, then I will have something later, she had said. So, they sat down and began going through the list. But just barely 15 minutes that they began, rushed into Anyekan's bedroom, looking so worried.
Sir, please, you need to come with me. Come see something, please,
she said in a terrifying and hurried tone. For a second, Anyekan's gaze moved from the list in his hand to Mm's face, and he immediately felt a sense of worry. He had never seen look so scared and worried at all in all the 17 months she had been working for him. In fact, was always cheerful, never angry, and always calm, even when she was being shouted at and being scolded. Anyeka never scolds her though, because truly, she is very good at her job and is so respectful. But for some reason, Anyeka's mother, Madam Juliet, does not like and so does Jenny. Several times, Anyeka's mother and Jenny had asked Anyeka to fire but he had refused. Well, Anyeka hurriedly followed who was running towards the gates, and Jenny followed him behind. They got outside to the gates, and then pointed to a small basket placed just in front of the gates. In it was a tiny little baby, a newborn, probably a few weeks old, between 1 to 3 weeks. What is the meaning of this? Why is there a baby in front of my gates? Who put this here? Anyeka asked with sudden discomfort and annoyance.
Sir, I don't know. I came out to trash dirt and I saw it here,
replied. Now, Anyeka has no one tending to his gates. No gatekeeper, no watchman or security guard. The last one he had was 4 months ago. It was an elderly man of 67 years old called Babajide, whom Anyeka forced to retire because the old man was suffering from chronic arthritis. Anyeka likes Babajide, but he was more concerned about his health. He had taken pity on Babajide 3 years ago and given him the job. But with the health condition he had developed, he had to insist that the old man retire. So, he asked him to go, but still send him monthly allowances. And Anyeka was a man who values trust, honesty, and dedication. All of this which Babajide possessed. And also one of the reasons he had kept and refused to fire her, despite his mother and Jenny's insistence. It is difficult to find godly, dedicated, and trustworthy domestic staff these days. So, I am not going to sack her because of your assumption that she would seduce me, Anyeka had said to his mother and Jenny. So, he had a difficult time finding a young man with these qualities to man his gates. And that was why he had not gotten a replacement for Babajide for the 4 months now that Babajide left. He had been opening the gate himself whenever he wants to go in and out, and sometimes helps him. So now, with no security guard or gatekeeper, no one saw who had left the baby at his gate. There was a note attached to the baby. Jenny bent down to pick it and look at it. The note read, "Please take care of her." And anger started developing within Jenny. Anyeka, did you cheat on me? Did you get a girl pregnant and try to keep it away from me? She asked, because she had seen something like this in movies. Hell no, I will never do such. I will never do such a thing to you. I love you, Jenny, that the idea of cheating on you never crossed my mind, and it would never, Anyeka replied. Then, he turned to and asked again, "Are you sure that you did not see who left this baby here?" he asked.
No, sir, I did not. I only found it here,
replied. Just then, the baby started crying. Their voices had woken the baby up, and though the baby looked tiny, its voice sounded so loud, especially as the area was quiet at that time of the night. As the baby cried, Anyeka became tensed. "Please, you ladies should make it stop now before it draws attention. You are ladies, right? So you would know how to make a baby stop crying," he said, with clearly noticeable tension in his voice. "God forbid. You want me to touch a baby I don't know where it came from?" Jenny replied immediately. Sir, maybe we should take it inside, suggested. Anyekan raised his brow. Take a baby I don't know where it came from into my house? He asked, disgusted by MM's suggestion.
Okay, sir. What about we take the baby and go around the estate to ask questions? Maybe someone might know the baby.
Suggested again. How can you think like this? I thought you were intelligent and smart. Anyekan replied, still disgusted by a second suggestion. The house by the right next to Anyekan's own was about 15 steps away, and it is occupied by a middle-aged old woman who was at that time had not even been around because she had traveled to UK to go take care of her son's wife who had a baby 4 months ago. And to his left were also a middle-aged couple who lived peacefully in the house their rich son overseas had bought for them. The other houses in the estate were occupied by other married couples, and only quite a few people in the estate were single like Anyekan. How do you think the neighbors would perceive me if I go about knocking from door to door with a baby that was left right in front of my gate by this time of the night? Who would believe that I do not know how this baby came about? Anyekan asked when she made that suggestion. The three of them, confused, stood there, thinking, their heads and minds spinning fast. The baby's cry grew louder as though it had a volume button that has been tuned higher. Anyekan started sweating as the baby's cry grew louder.
Sir, I think it will be better if we take this baby inside though, at least for now, so we can avoid the attention you do not want.
Suggests again. Okay, take it in, Anyekan said finally, agreeing with and seeing reasons with her last suggestion. Hell no! Don't tell me you want to take in this strange baby into our house, Jenny asked with disgust. But wasted no time and carried the baby since Anyekan had given his permission to take the baby in. When they got in, could tell that the baby was hungry because it kept putting its hand in its mouth and sucking it as it cried. There was no baby food in the house. I mean, how could there be when they hadn't been expecting a baby? Thought of what to do, then remembered that there was custard powder in the house. So she quickly made a little in a light creamy paste and fed the baby with it. The baby took in the food very fast because it had been so hungry. Meanwhile, the rest of the night, Jenny nagged Anyekan. Why did you bring in a baby you claim you know nothing about into your house? Are you lying to me? Did you cheat on me or are you cheating on me? Okay, even if I want to believe that you did not cheat on me, what if that baby is your so-called housekeeper's baby? She may be trying to trick you and is looking for a way to bring in a bastard child without being suspected or fired, and you just fell for it. What if the baby has some deadly disease? What if it is a trap by that your stupid ex Joyce? Jenny went on and on the whole night. Anyekan was mute all through and uttered no words. His brain was in confusion and turmoil as he wondered why anyone would leave a baby at his gates. And Jenny's naggings did not help matters at all. So he stayed muted, trying to process the events of the evening. Jenny later suggested that they go dump the baby in a refuse dump. But Anyekan told her that he would never do such. I can't do that to an innocent and helpless baby, he told her. Well, If truly you do not know anything about that baby, you would take my suggestion. Besides, the baby was dumped here in the first place. Dumped here, oh. So, if your conscience is clean and you have no link to the baby and you have not done anything in secret with any woman, then you shouldn't feel awkward about dumping the baby in a refuse dump. It will simply mean trashing the nonsense that was left at your doorstep. All you would have just done is trashing it at the right place, which is the refuse dump, as whoever that did it did not see in the first place, Jenny said to him. Anyway, they eventually retired to bed and decided to have a little sleep before it was morning. And early the next morning, at about 4 a.m., when it was still dark, Jenny brought up what she had suggested again. Now is the proper time to take this baby away from your house and our lives. Let's drive to a refuse dump and drop the baby there. It is still dark, nobody would see us, and we will be saving ourselves from a trouble that is not ours, she said. Anan stared at the woman that was going to be his wife in disbelief. He had felt that she came up with that idea the previous night because the situation was more tense then. But for her to have still insisted on it was something he found disheartening. Well, after about an hour, Jenny left, saying that Anan did not buy into her suggestion. And just barely after 2 hours when she left, Anan received a call from his mother. Hello Anan, what have you done to Jenny that has made her choose not to go ahead with the marriage? Which baby is in your house? Did you secretly impregnate a woman and deny the pregnancy for her to have come dump the baby at your doorstep? Hey, Anan, why do you want to ruin the chances of us becoming in-laws with the senator? I am coming over to your house now. Don't go anywhere, oh, Madam Juliet said, pouring out the questions without even giving Anan the room to even utter a greeting. Jenny had told her parents that Anan was cheating on her and had a strange baby, and in return, her mother had called Anan's mother. Meanwhile, had slept and kept the baby with her the whole night. The baby did not cry after she fed her the custard. She also fed her again twice during the night when she noticed that the baby was hungry again. And that morning, she was feeding the baby again after cleaning her up when Anan walked into the kitchen. For a minute, he didn't go in, but stood at the door watching skillfully and carefully feed the baby. Wasn't aware that he was watching her. She smiled at the baby as she fed her, like she was happy and is finding some sort of joy doing it. Anan called after watching her for some time. You know I trust you so much, right? And that is because you have never given me reasons to doubt you. Jenny is not here now, so I need you to tell me the truth about this baby. Do you have any connection with this baby, or perhaps not the person who left her here? Anan asked again, hoping that would give him an answer to end this misery he was in.
Sir, I swear, I don't know anything about this baby. I only saw her at the gate when I went out to trash the waste,
replied, just exactly the way she had the night before. Anan took a deep sigh and began thinking again of what he should do next.
Sir, may I suggest something?
M's voice came up, interrupting his deep thoughts.
Sir, I think we should report this to the police and take the baby to an orphanage. That way, you will be safe if the mother or parents of the baby shows up later to claim the baby, she said.
Hey, it is a good suggestion. I have thought the same myself. But you know who my father is in these states. any little thing would get to the media and the general public. Reporters and bloggers would twist the story and narrative to draw traffic to their sites and to sell their story. They will start saying Honorable Briggs' son did so and so. They won't just say one Anan Briggs so. They will definitely include my father's name. So whatever narrative they want to sell. And my father does not like his name being associated with controversies. I do not even like and want that either. Anan explained to MM. MM nodded her head in agreement. Anan was right about his fears and concern. They couldn't trust the medias and bloggers. Just that she had only been thinking of when and what if someone shows up later to claim the baby and accuse her boss for wrongly abducting the baby. MM put her hand on her jaw, thinking of the best solution to this dilemma they were in. Just then, Anan's mother arrived, anger and disgust written all over her face. "Where is this strange and evil baby?" she growled as she walked into Anan's living room. Anan narrated everything about how they found the baby to his mother and the options they have as a solution. "No, you will not go to any police. I can't have this mess put any dent to your father's name and our family's reputation. Neither would I allow this ruin the chances of having Senator Bassi as our in-law," Anan's mother said. "Don't worry. I know the matron of one of these orphanages in town. We will take the baby there and I will reward her handsomely to keep her mouth shut. Your marriage with Jenny would go as planned," Anan's mother added. And that was what she did. She ordered MM to enter into her car with the baby and drove to an orphanage. She dropped the baby there and bribed the matron of the orphanage not to ever reveal that she brought a baby there. If peradventure anyone asks you about the baby, either now or in the future, say that you found her in the street or in the gutter. Never mention my name or my family's name," Anan's mother said, warning the matron. The matron smiled as she received the money and swore to secrecy. "Now, you will call Jenny, apologize to her, and let her know that you have do away with the baby and that you want your marriage to go as planned," Madame Juliet said to her son when she arrived from the orphanage. However, Anan has been having a serious thought since that morning. Not only about the baby, but about Jenny, the woman he was going to get married to. He had fallen in love with Jenny, not only because of her beauty, but because of the softness and kind nature which she exhibits. He had perceived her to be someone who is kind and compassionate because she gave to the poor and needy. She had a humanitarian foundation where they cared for the needy and less privileged, especially less privileged children. If she does all of this, then why would she suggest that they dump a poor helpless baby in the refuse dump? Anan wondered. Though discovering an abandoned baby at her fiance's house is something that would make any lady unhappy and go mad. But of all things, to suggest that they dumped the baby in a refuse dump was something Anan considered despicable and inhumane, he said to himself. And with this, Anan began to wonder if Jenny was truly the kind and selfless young woman she portrays to the public. He wondered if he really knew her and feared if he was not making a mistake by wanting to spend the rest of his life with her. And so, Anan refused to call Jenny as his mother requested. "I am not sure I am interested in the marriage anymore myself," he told his parents, explaining his fears and thoughts about her horrible suggestion. "Leave that thing. She probably said that because she was tensed and confused just as you were in the situation, Anyekan's mother said, trying to make up excuses for Jenny. Please, my love, I am sorry. I was confused and tensed at the time, Jenny also said as she apologized to Anyekan over the phone the next morning. But still, Anyekan felt strongly within him that he should no longer go ahead with his proposed marriage to Jenny. And with that, he told his parents to also inform them that he was no longer interested. To hell with him. Does he know how many more important and prominent men begging me and begging my father every day to give them my hand in marriage? Jenny said to her friends after Anyekan officially made it clear to both families involved that he was no longer interested in marrying Jenny. Then one night, Anyekan had a dream. In the dream, he saw a woman. The face was one he had never seen anywhere before. The woman looked battered and her cloth was stained with blood. She held a newborn baby and was running with it, while some men chased after her with machetes. After running for a while, it seemed like she had lost the men who were chasing her. But just as she was about to take a rest, one of the men appeared again and she started running again. She got to a bend and followed it, still running until she got to the front of Anyekan's house. When she got to Anyekan's house, she turned around but didn't see the man chasing her again. Without wasting any more time, the woman dropped her baby at Anyekan's gates, brought out a pen and paper from inside her clothes and wrote down something in it. And as she made to turn away, Anyekan and MM suddenly appeared. Please, you both should take care of my baby, the woman said to them in the dream, and disappeared. Anyekan woke up, panting heavily and wondering what kind of dream he had just had. A baby again at my gates, he said to himself, looking so worried, terrified and confused.